Genesis 47 has Shbi in the margin there, and Mepthir in the margin. And in verse 28, we have Ein Kan Paska Kalal Ki Ruch Out Acht. Letters are kind of small and blurred, so if I got that wrong, it's not intentional. And Haftaroth Ezekiel, which is not how you pronounce it, we'll find that out later. It's 37, 15 to 28. And then verse 28 through 31 starts We Chi, which is section 12 of Brashit. Is it the last one? Because that makes sense, dividing it into 12. Then Yusuf came and told Pharaoh, and said, My father and my brethren, and their flocks and their herds, and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, My servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, For to sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Yusuf, saying, Thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and thy brethren to dwell. In the land of Goshen let them dwell, and if thou knowest any men of ability among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. And Yusuf brought in Jacob his father, and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And 2 words before we go on. Stuckum and Burk. Burk is to bend the knee, to kneel, to bless, to render obeisance or service to, altogether, at all. In some sense, treason or blasphemy. Congratulating, on another hand, cursing or saluting, thanking. Yitzhak is permanently establish, leave, make present, put, set aside. Okay, so I didn't. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of the pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh, and went out from before Pharaoh. And Yusuf placed his father and his brethren, and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, and the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Yusuf nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Yusuf gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Yusuf brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt, and in the land of Canaan, and all the Egyptians came unto Yusuf, and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Yusuf said, Give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Yusuf, and Yusuf gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys, and he fed them with bread, for all their cattle was for that year. For all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord. How is it that our money is spent, and my lord also hath herds of cattle? There is not aught left in the sight of my lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed, that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. And Yusuf bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to cities, from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat the portion which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands. And Yusuf said unto Pharaoh, Behold, I have bought you this day, and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, for the seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Yusuf made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priest only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and then had possession therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. As we say, we were entering the 12th section of Brashit. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the whole age of Jacob was 147 years, which is longer than the second longest living person in modern times, because that person died at 142 in, was it Tibet? And the time drew nigh that Israel must die, and he called his son Yusuf, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he sware unto him, and Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. Now, one of the things, for example, in the Islamic tradition is the state gets 1/5 of the spoils of war. It's not the same thing as a tax of 1/5 of what you have, but some have taken it to that extreme in modern days, because that's what a lot of rulers used to have. I was looking at it because the light made it look. I guess at certain angles you see stuff in stones, but there was a pattern that showed with the light at a particular angle. But Weba Yusuf, Weba Yusuf Wigad Leprah We Amr Abi Wachi Watsanam Webkerm Wukkel Asher Laham Bow Martz Kanan Wahnam Bartz Gishin Wabkutsa Achu Lakuch Chumsha Anshim Wheatgum Lepni Per we Amr Per Al Achu Mashikam we Amru Al Parah Rah Tzan Abdik Gum Anchanu Gum Abutinu we Amru Al Parah Lagur Barts Banu Ki Ain Murah Latzan Asher Labdik Ki Kabad Harab Barts Kanan Wata Yashbuna Abdik Barts Gishin we Amr Perah Al Yusuf Lamer Abik Wachik Bao Alik Arts Matsrim Lapnik Wa Bamithab Hearts Hushab at Abik Wat Achik Yashbu Barts Gishin Wam Yadat Wish Bum Anshi Chil Washmutam Shri Makna Al Asher Li Wabba Yusuf at Yaqub Abu we Amdahu Lepni Perah Webruk Yaqub at Perah Weamer Perah Al Yaqub Kmah Yami Shani Chiak Weamu Weamer Yaqub Al Perah Yami Shani Maguri Shulshim Wamat Shana Math Rayim Hugh Yami Shani Chi Wala Chashigu at Yami Shani Chi Abti Bini Maguriham Wibrak Yaqub at Perah Witza Melpani Perah Wilshab Yosef at Abu Wat Achu Wheaton Laham Achza Barts Matzrim Bamithab Hearts Barts Ramsus Kasher Tzwa Parah Wiklakal Yusuf at Abu Wat Achu Wat Kul Bait Abu Lachum Lapi Hathaf Wolchum Aish Buckle Hearts Ki Kibd Harab Mad Wetla Arts Matsrim Warts Kanan Mapni Harab we Laqath Yusuf at Kul Haksuf Hanmatza Barts Matsrim Wabarts Kanan Bashbur at Chur Han Shibrim, Weba, Yusuf, at Haksuf, Wita, Perah, Witam, Haksuf, Marts, Matzrim, Wamarts, Canaan, we bow kul Matzrim, al Yusuf, Lamer, Haba, Lanu, Lachem, Walmah, Namut, Nagduk, Ki, Aps, Kasip, we Amr, Yusuf, Habu, Maknikum, Watna, Lakum, Bumknikum, Apas, Kasip, we Biao, at Makniham, al Yusuf, Wetan, Lahem, Yusuf, Lachem, Basusim, Wabakna, Hatsan, Wabakna, Habkur, Wab Chumrim, Weenholm, Bulham, is it Bolcham, Buckle, Maknaham, Bashna, Hahwa, Wattam, Hashna, Hahwa, we bow, Aliu, Bashna, Hashnim, we Amru, Lu La, Nakchud, Madni, Ki Amtam, Heksaf, Wamkna, Habhama, Al Adni, La Nishar, Labni, Adni, Balti, Gwitanu, Wad Mutnu, Lama, Namut, La Yinyuk, Gum Anjanu, Gum Adamatnu, Kna, Kna, Atnu, Wad Adamatnu, Bolchum, Wancha, Anjanu, Wadmatnu, Abdim, Lebrah, Watan, Sra, Wancha, Wala, Namut, Wa Adma, La Tuchum, Wikan, Yusuf, at Kul, Admat, Matzrim, Lebrah, Ki, Makru, Matzrim, Aish, Shadhu, Ki, Chazak, Al-Ham, Harab, Wadhi, Hartz, Lebrah, Wad Ham, Habir, Atu, Larim, Maktsah, Kabul, Matzrim, Wad, Katsu, Rak, Admat, Hak, Hanim, La Kna, Ki, Chak.